And that's what I want you to realize is that a lot of times social media may not get the engagement we're looking for, but people are remembering, they're reminded. And the more someone interacts with your pieces of content, the more the algorithm is going to show it.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Snyder, and this is the Product Boss Podcast. I've helped launch and grow thousands of product-based businesses, even one of my own. And over the last 20 years, I've seen behind the scenes of businesses just like yours. Whether they are makers, manufacturers, artists, or food and beverage businesses, I have spent so many hours studying it all. I've discovered what makes them successful. What are mistakes they could avoid? How did they turn an idea into successful business? And what are strategies they have used to make more sales and be discovered by more customers? This is what this show is all about. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to become $1 million product boss, I'm here to give you the permission to chase your dreams, no matter how big or small. All you need is the right mindset, a little courage, strategy, and support, and you too can be the next $1 million product boss. Let's do this.
Hey friends, I want to interrupt the podcast for 1 second just to talk to you about something. Your sales software shouldn't be a bummer. When you step inside your CRM, you should feel equipped to do your best work, like you're sitting in the pilot seat with easy to use and powerful controls. And that's the magic of HubSpot Sales Hub. The new Sales Hub is designed to help you win quarter over quarter and year over year. With an intuitive prospecting workspace and AI-powered tools that reduce your workload, managing leads is a lot less like manual labor. And closing deals, it's no big deal at all. Wrangle your day-to-day tasks on a seamless platform that make navigating contacts, calls, and analytics easy. Get AI-powered tools like ChatSpot that are tailor-made to be personal assistants for your CRM. Just prompt it to pull up a contact, sum up last week's sales, or research your competitors. By automating steps across the sales pipeline, teams can take back their time and spend it on more impactful tasks like connecting with customers. Close more deals and get on track for your best Q1 yet. Learn about HubSpot Sales Hub at hubspot.com/sales. Hey friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Product Boss Podcast. I just want to first start off by saying thank you. Thank you so much. So many of you have sent me messages on Instagram or you have left reviews on the podcast, really just giving me some incredible feedback on the direction that the show has gone. As I've transferred to being solo on the show and really sort of starting to shape and lead the path forward for the Product Boss and what it's looking like in the future, which I'm so excited about, and the fact that you all are excited about it as well. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. It has been a transition, to say the least, something I'm really excited about as we move forward. But you never know, right? So feedback is one of those things that really just helps. So you could continue to send me messages on Instagram if you're loving. I think a lot of you are loving the coaching episodes, as well as if you are loving the show, would you mind leaving a review wherever you listen, and make sure you're following the show. It helps us reach more people. It gives me the feedback that we're looking for. And if you have anything that you want to share with me on like a personal level, just send me a DM over on Instagram at The Product Boss. So I just wanted to start with that. Now, moving forward and kind of thinking about what we're doing, shifting into 2024, one of the biggest questions I get asked by our students in our programs is really, do I need social media? And how do I make social media work for me? Because it gets a little bit frustrating. Am I right? I mean, the algorithm is constantly changing. The rules are constantly changing. Things that are working work and then they don't work. And I think what I want you all to know, and I'll tell you it here, and then we're going to shift into the episode on what's inside, but you do not need social media to have a profitable revenue generating business. You don't need it. I'm going to tell you that off the bat. Okay, so yes, you heard me say that right. Now, I'm also going to tell you a really quick story, and a lot of you may have heard me talk about this one particular student, but we have a student who sells bras, underwear, t-shirts online. So she sells on Amazon, she sells direct to consumer, and she sells to bigger box stores like wholesale. Okay. She has 1,500 followers on Instagram. How much money do you think her business generates a year? Okay. TikTok. Okay. I'm gonna tell you another person, and then I'll tell you. I have another person, Donna Baum, who has, I think, 24 followers for Static Block. Last I checked, 24 followers. And how much do you think she's making a year? Okay, so that's Static Block. Okay, so let's jump back. The lingerie company that sells online, sells on Amazon, sells direct to consumer with 1,500 followers. They make $25 million a year. I know. I underguessed. I said 18 because that was her goal, but she hit 25 million. Okay. And we worked with her when she was just over 10 million. Unbelievable. Okay. All right. Okay. Pick your jaws up from the floor. Now, next person, Donna Baum, Static Block. After 90 days of being with us inside of Multi-Stream Machine, she wrote to us and said she made $31,500. And I think she had 14 followers at that point, following what we teach in the program. Okay, jump forward. We got a message from her. This is her first full year of business, focusing on her bestseller, like what she's known for. She didn't know what she was known for until she decided, this is what I'm going to be known for. And now her company is going to hit, I think it was around $200,000 for 2023. She quit her full-time job. She has 24 followers last I checked. All right. So I say all of this, and then I'm going to jump into an episode where I'm going to talk to you about building a thriving social media following. So then let me flip to the other side. While you do not need it, if you have the right sales channels that have the right, like that your audience there and the right sales channels, and you really decide you're going to dig into a sales channel, a lot of times you do not need social to drive sales. But you do need social in the context of brand awareness, brand building. If you were to sell wholesale or someone were to discover your brand and look you up, they would probably go to Instagram and see, does this person exist or not exist, right? Are they a legit business? Or are they not a legit business? I think that's one of the things that differentiates us from, Chinese-based companies, for example, that are coming off as if they are American companies or European or Australian or Canadian companies, right? It's a thing that starts to create us as a brand. And you are a brand, my friends. Like you do want to create a brand around that. And we're gonna talk about brand and brand development and all that, and then in the next few months. So don't worry about that right now. So that's the one reason I think that a strong social media presence, it doesn't have to be followers, but a presence. Like if I were to land, I understand right away, this is for me or this is not for me. And if it's for me, I get the information that I need out of it. Okay. Then the second part of this is I know a lot of you believe, and it actually is true on the other hand, because remember, we believe in many paths to profit, meaning Donna and my $25 million company that I mentioned, those people don't need social. They have found another way using kind of basically what we teach in Multi-Stream Machine, which is multiple sales channels with an audience that's already built in. Okay, so that's sort of what they're doing there. But a lot of us still want to have a thriving social media following and a presence. We want to have access to our customers in alternative ways. We want to stay top of mind. Two ways to do that are one, building your email list, and two, having a social media following. This is our free marketing play. This is our organic marketing play. So telling you all of this, we have created an incredible guide for you all, and it's our guide to growing your audience on social media. Okay. It's our guide to growing your audience on social media. So all you have to do is head to theproductboss.com/grow social. It's theproductboss.com/grow social. It's totally free. And we're going to give you a bunch of tips so that you can build, it's actually a whole playbook so that you can build a thriving social media following. Because if this is the path that you're going to take, right? If you're going to take the path of social, then I want customers to land on you and say, yes, this is for me, or no, it's not for me. And I don't want them to say, no, it's not for me, because what they see is janky, right? I don't want them to be like, oh no, like I'm looking for a brand I can trust that looks professional, like they're looking for something more up-leveled, because your product may be for them, but the way it's represented online may repel customers instead of attract them. So we want to repel the customers that are not our ideal customers. See you later. Not for you. And then we want to attract the customers, and we want to make sure that our social presence does attract them, right? We want to make sure that the thing that they see is the thing that they want. So in this episode, I'm going to go over 10 tips for building a thriving social media following. But I want to tell you that I have all of these secrets for your social media success all inside of our guide to growing your audience on social media. And again, it's theproductboss.com/growsocial, and we will put that in the show notes. All right, ready to jump in? Okay. So first thing that you need to do, a tip, is that you need to understand who your ideal customer is. Who is your ideal customer? And what are they looking for on social? Are they looking for being funny, entertainment? Do they like to follow and see how it's made? What are they following on social media? Now, if you go and look at different brands out there, right? Like let's say you go look at Nike, for example. Nike has a large following, but if you go look at their Instagram like their reels, their likes and their comments, it does not match, like the engagement does not match the size of the following. And why is that? That's because they are truly a brand that is not a personal brand. It's not a small business type brand. So they're really just like showing images of product, showing images of models in their products, and maybe potentially sports stars, but nothing that's like truly the reason why somebody would really follow and engage on social media. So a lot of us, I think product bosses get confused between when we follow influencers or we follow creators or we follow people that are building their brands more like a personal brand. And we're seeing a lot of followers, a lot of engagement, a lot of views. Versus if you go and look at bigger brands, you can actually see that they're posting content, but it's not necessarily a highly engaged audience. Because what would you do if you scrolled past Nike? You'd take a look, you'd be like, oh, Nike. And then you'd keep going. You probably wouldn't comment unless it was something funny or topic relevant or something that you felt the need to comment on. You may like it to be nice, maybe, but you might just see it. And that's what I want you to realize is that a lot of times social media may not get the engagement we're looking for, but people are remembering, they're reminded. And the more someone interacts with your pieces of content, the more the algorithm is going to show it. So when I say that, we're going to dig into this inside of this workbook on figuring out who your audience is and then potentially what can you be posting that's going to get their engagement, because this is what I believe for a small business like you. I believe we can have both. I believe we can have a highly engaged audience. It doesn't have to be the biggest audience. They just have to be an engaged audience if the content you're putting out there matches it's like a match to your audience's engagement style. So for example, at the Product Boss, and it's different because we're a service, we're a podcast, we're a community, we're an education company. But at the Product Boss, if we post an image of a guest and we're like, hey, podcast episode, right? Like this great episode with this guest and we're on and this, that, you don't engage with it. You barely like it. You barely comment on it. But maybe when you see our podcast posts, you're like, oh yeah, there's a new episode today. I should go take a listen. So maybe it's doing the job, but it's not a highly engaged piece of content that we're putting out on social. Then if we have a quote that deeply resonates with our audience, right? Something that you're all like, yes, you see me, you know me, you get me. That is something that gets more comments, gets more likes, gets more shares, and gets more saves. Another piece of content that you all really like is when we post content that you can repost. That's like, hey, shop a small business, or every time you buy from a small business, I'm doing a happy dance. Or I did this one recently that went the most viral for us because it, social is social, changes all the time. But it's me saying, if you see me talking to myself, don't interrupt me. I'm having a business meeting or like I'm having a staff meeting because it's just me, right? And that got a lot of engagement and a lot of shares. It deeply resonated with our followers. So as you test and try different pieces of content, knowing who your audience is and knowing the tone you want to come out with, you'll start to say, oh yeah, this works. Oh, this doesn't work. Oh, this works. This doesn't work. Okay. So that's our tip number 1. So then the second tip that I have for you is using quotes. I know, but a quote is actually quite powerful. And so find quotes that speak to your customer, that speak to your niche. Okay, so a couple ideas here. Let's say you're a candle company. I know I was good at candles, but let's just say you're a candle company. I'd given this tip to one of our students in our mastermind, and they're a candle company. And I was like, you could light a candle, play some music, and put a quote on top of it. Not play some music. Like I'm like, press your radio and play the music into the phone, like olden days. No. Pick a trending song, have a video of like the candle just being lit, and then have text on top of it. Now, what's the text you have on top of it? It depends on your brand tone. So the text on top could be something like either like a meditative moment, right? A little mindset, a little reminder, a little bit of like, here's your moment of Zen. Or it could be something like totally left field that makes sense if, let's say, you're cheeky or funny. So that's kind of a twofold of quotes and reels. But quotes, ignore the video part, but a quote, you can start to test quotes. Just give credit. Just make sure you give credit to the person you are quoting. That's just really important unless it's your own. Okay. Number 3, the tip you can do here is sharing viral content. This is content that's not yours, but make sure to credit the person whose it is. And this will help you get in front of new eyes, right? So let's say I had seen this company, I've talked about it. I think I talk about it inside of Multi-Stream Machine, inside of this module, but the company is called Sleeper. Sleeper. And they're a pajama company. And I show this and I kind of like audit it and talk all about it inside of the program. But what I show is that there's all the pictures of the models and the beautiful editorial shoots and all the things wearing the pajamas, and they're gorgeous. And they get likes, not a lot of comments. But then when they were building their brand, they used to show videos or photos of sleeping animals. Baby sleeping animals. Imagine tiny bunnies sleeping. Imagine little tiny ducks sleeping. Imagine all the cutest little animals falling asleep. Okay, why does that make sense? Well, it's a viral piece of content, right? It's content that other people will share because like, oh my God, look at this cute animal. I'm going to share it to my stories. But they were sleeping, which kind of connects pajamas, which you wear to sleep, and the brand. Eventually, they shifted into just other cute pictures of animals, like just doing cute things. Like they may not have been sleeping, but they saw that the animal content really went viral. People shared it. People liked it the most. It was like the most engaged content. So why does that make sense? That makes sense because it keeps people engaged with your brand. Remember, if they tap, comment, like, share, anything that you've created, they are going to start to see your stuff more in the algorithm. And that's what we want. Because you can have 1,000 followers and 3 people can see your stuff, or you can have 1,000 followers and 400 people can see your stuff. It depends on if they're engaged and doing it. And then reaching new audience is really hard. But if you have viral content that somebody shares and then they share and then they share, that's how we get in front of other people. That's how we get new eyes. Okay, so sharing viral content, that's just an example. We'll give a couple more examples inside of the guide that you're going to get today. So when you download the guide at theproductboss.com/growsocial, we'll show you some other examples of viral content that you can share. Hey, Product Boss. Okay, so it is podcast recommendation time. And this month, I am so excited to share Latinx in Power, hosted by Taisa Fernandez and brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. Latinx in Power is a podcast that features interviews with top-level executives, entrepreneurs, and innovators from Latin America and the Caribbean. Having the perspective of Latin American leaders who have succeeded in their fields is so invaluable. And they're aiming to demystify the tech industry by providing listeners with insider perspectives. And I don't know about you, but I love to listen to podcasts that interview leaders in different industries because you never know what nugget of advice you can pick up and apply to your own business. So I really love this recent episode titled From Legos to Microsoft with Pablo Veramendi. Pablo is the director of audience evangelism at Microsoft. Yes, the Microsoft. And in this episode, Pablo discusses his Hispanic identity, passion for building communities through technology, and insights on the future of technology. And he even teased some upcoming projects at Microsoft. Listen to Latinx in Power wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey friends, are you unsure of what to say on social media or what to even send in your weekly emails? Well, what if creating content could be easy? Would you be looking for a shortcut to creating consistent content? Yes, consistent content, because you know consistency is key. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone when you feel like you're struggling on what to post or what to write in emails. And we know that you have that product part of your business down. But as you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know that to get more people to your products, to buy your products, you need to create great content. Oh, I know. I keep saying content, and that's the dreaded C word. And we can't tell you how many product bosses tell us that they want to create great content for their audience and their customers, but they don't know what to say, or they are so busy they can't find the time, or they really, really, really don't want to be the face of their brand. Well, no worries, because that's exactly why we created A Year of Content. It is your shortcut to creating consistent content that resonates with your audience and brings more loyal customers who can't wait to buy your products. If you want to see how easy this is and how easy it is to create content for your audience and your customers, head to www.ayearofcontent.com.
All right, fourth tip is check out successful accounts in your niche and see what they're doing that's working. So it kind of started with this when I talked about Nike. Go look at other brands. I would say look at big brands and see what is their most engaged pieces of content. What kind of reels are people looking at? Because you can see that data when you follow someone like a successful account. You can also look at a smaller business that has 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 followers, somewhere in that range, and see what are their customers engaging with. I will tell you, the more followers you get, the less people engage with you. Your engagement might be high, but like it's a bigger pool. So it's still not as tight knit versus like if you were a micro influencer or somebody with like less followers, but they were highly engaged, it's easier to reach those people. So I want you to check out successful accounts in your niche. All right, tip number 5. This is a big one. Your bio. I've looked at a lot of your bios. They are not going to set you up for success. Okay, because a lot of times you all message me, you might leave a comment, something, and I'll click on the profile and I'll go and take a look and I'm like, I don't know. I still don't know what you're selling, right? Is this a personal account? Is this a business account? It's very unclear to me. So the better you can get at your bio, the better you can tell the story of your company, who you are. And I know as a customer, I belong or I don't belong. So we're going to break down the bio inside of the guide so you can get all the info you need in there. But the bio is a big thing, and your photo, your bio picture. Okay. All right. 6th tip, branding. We're going to start digging into branding more here at the Product Boss because I see it as a big gap. But what I want to tell you is that everything needs to be cohesive. So when you're thinking about your overall image, right, your colors, your fonts, right, you want people to look at your page and identify right away, is that you or not? So you can kind of see at the Product Boss, we've sort of shifted into this new black, red, pink sort of tone. Does it mean that we're always going to be there? No. But right now, that's what we're going to use. And then we might shift again. But right now, if you see like a black, pink, red post of some sort, even my reels have like this black filter over them right now. You might be like right away, you may not even know, but you see it and you know it's the Product Boss. So I want that to happen for you as well. They will know it's your content before they even finish reading it because they will associate the way it comes across visually with your brand. So the more you can get cohesive, the better. I'll say some of the least successful accounts that I will see, you all use it as like a poster board. Like it reminds me of if I was in a coffee shop and, there's like cork boards where people are like, you get a tutor, come sign up for this Pilates class, dog walker available. Like where like it's a message board. Sometimes I'll look at your accounts and they look like message boards. There's a lot of graphics that are up, like come visit us at this trade show, or, we're having a weekend sale at our store, that kind of thing. It's not necessarily the best use of social, treating it like a poster board. So I think we're going to dig into that because we want you to be a brand that people follow and engage with. All right, 7th tip is videos. I'm just going to say it. You have to make them. Just it is what it is. Does it have to be your face? No. We can get creative. We'll give you some ideas inside of this guide, but videos are actually the way of the world. It just is. I know when we started, we're like, oh, like I remember I did this video or plank challenge back in 2020. A lot of you had discovered us through that. It was during like the pandemic. And I was like, either hold a plank for 60 seconds or do a 60-second video. A lot of you did videos, but here's the deal. We've shifted. We're almost at 2024. Video is it. So there's lots of ways to do it. We'll share that inside of the guide, but it is the easiest way to reach new people. All right. But it is a place to be creative and it's a place to do video. I'm seeing actually some of the most content like that gets viral, that gets likes, all that. It's video. It still is video. All right. Number 8, we're going to talk about content. So we want to mix it up. We want to mix up what kind of content is in your feed. Are you doing a giveaway and are you doing promotions around it? Are you sharing happy customer testimonials? Are you creating shareable content, right? The stuff that can kind of go viral. Are you resharing stuff that did well? I say that because you do not have to always come up with new content. There are pieces of content like reels and quotes that we will bring back and put back into the mix. We might change the visual on it. Like let's say it's a quote. We might make it in a different colorway or font or something like that. Or I know there's one of me marching with my dog by a frozen lake that I did a couple years ago that we'll re-air, we'll like put back up on social every so often, and it still gets some of the highest engagement. Not everybody sees what you do. So if there's stuff that has worked in the past, reshare it. Okay? But here's the thing I want to tell you about all of it is I don't want you to overthink any of this. Okay? That's a new theme at the Product Boss. We are going to make and sell things without overthinking it. We're going to keep going to like better done than perfect. We're going to just get it done. We're going to keep moving through. No overthinking here. And if you find yourself overthinking, you just got to do something different. You just got to take another step because overthinking and like analysis paralysis, that's what keeps us stuck. So content, we're going to mix it up. We're going to see what resonates and we'll keep doing what works. Okay. So number 9 tip, this is going to blow your minds, but don't just post product shots. We want you to tell stories. So sometimes I'll look at your feeds and remember, like if I'm following you, then your image might just cross my, as I'm scrolling, right? It'll just pop up. What is it telling me? What is a photo telling me? Photos can tell you an entire story. But if it is just a simple photo, like I know somebody who makes like this wall hanging device thing, and it's just a straight shot of this wall hanging thing laying down flat, the plain old background and just that. It is not an engaging piece of content. It is not an engaging photo. It doesn't tell me anything. It's just like, oh, okay. All right, moving on, right? It's almost like if you're trying to sell something on like Facebook Marketplace or, you're like trying to give something away for free and you take a quick photo and you post it online, like, does someone want to come pick this up from my house? That's what it looks like. And we don't want it to look like that. Remember, we have to go back to this idea of like, what's your brand? What does your audience want to see? How do they see the product in use? What images look good? And we go over photos inside of Multi-Stream Machine for sure. And we talk about social media for sure. But inside of this guide, I just want you to jump in and say, okay, what are engaging pieces of content? What are good product shots that tell a story? Okay, and here's my 10th tip for you. Trending audio. Use them to have fun. You can create pieces of content. We're going to talk about video and things like that. You create the video. And then if you can find trending audio to attach your video to, great. So it can go twofold. Either you're creating videos and then you're looking for the trending audio, or you find trending audio and you're like, oh, that's a good kind of video or template. I'm going to do that. And then so you can work one of both ways. And I want you to use them because they do tend to help reach more people. Even though we have also done bits of content that is not trending audio, but it's gone viral. So you can kind of go both ways. But if you go viral, you could gain followers, but a lot of times you may not. And a lot of times what happens is if it goes viral for something that's not associated, like for example, the Product Boss, we went viral back in 2020, like 15 million views on a video that I made with my husband being funny. Okay. So it was like a moment where like I tricked him and I said I was getting up early to work out in the morning and this, that, and the other. And he looks at me and he's like, what? Like liar, right? But I'm supposed to be like an influencer telling like you my morning routine. That went viral back then. I think we gained close to 20,000 followers. They were following a husband and wife being funny. They were not following because they were product people. So eventually we were losing a lot of followers because the more content I created that really resonated with our ideal customer didn't match the virality. So sometimes things will go viral and you might get a bunch of followers, right? And if you've got content that's consistent or it attracts the right kind of customer, but it's your original content that's going to make them stay. So the whole thing that we do, your entire grid, all of the content you're doing, whether you go viral or not, what will happen is they'll be like, oh, they'll see your stuff, then they'll click on your profile, then they'll take a look at your site and they'll say, do I belong or do I not belong? And a lot of us sell product. So let's say you're a candle company or a jewelry company and something goes viral and a lot of women see it. And then they're like, oh, I've just discovered a new brand. And it might make sense for them. So you want to just make sure that when you do go viral, it's okay. It's all right. But they're going to come and they're going to check your original content to decide whether they're going to follow or not and stay. All right. So those are 10 tips. You can unlock all of our insider secrets to social media on our freebie. It's totally free. Just theproductboss.com/growsocial. And I can't wait for you to dig in. And then once you do, let me know how to go. Start using it. And then let's kick off 2024 with a really strong social media presence. And let me know. Just send me a DM over on Instagram if you love it. Make sure you are following us on Instagram so you can also watch how we are growing. If you don't know this already, the Product Boss, and we'll do an intro, but the Product Boss actually hired a big influencer. So she is a influencer in her own right. She has 400,000 followers across platforms, and she has come in and taken over the Product Boss in terms of content. And she's been really helping us with social and all the things. So if you're seeing a shift and change, it's because I've hired someone that is an expert. And I'm so excited because as an expert, she is diving into our masterminds and working with our masterminders one-on-one. She is helping us with the content and the education that we're going to create around social and influencers and followings and engagement and all that stuff. We have some cool stuff coming out in the new year. And also inside of Multi-Stream Machine, in our next level program and all the things that she is also in there every so often as a coach, but especially in our masterminds because our masterminders get access to everybody and they've got the closest access. So if you've got any questions about the mastermind or anything like that, just send me a DM if it's something that interests you and if there's still spots available. Okay, my friends, I hope that this is helpful. Grab the download and I can't wait to see you inside.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.